Hello, Ethan.
Hello.
You're playing Goodnight Robicheaux in this
Yes.
new Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
So, how is it different from the previous version of 1960?
The original Magnificent Seven in 1960 was a remake of The Seven Samurai, and you could venture forth the argument that The Seven Samurai is based on a lot of old legends. It's a very old story, really. The idea of a group of people who are lost, a bunch of outlaws who find themselves and find meaning by being in service of others. You know, it's a very, very simple story. And so this one, I think, is more interesting to me because, basically because it's more inclusive and from a racial standpoint. You know, that Antoine is including much more of the world, and so it becomes a better metaphor for where we are right now. And I find that really interesting. And it's also, in the 1960, the villain was Eli Wallach dressed up as a Mexican doing a bad Mexican accent. And he was just a evil bandito. And in this one, there's something kind of powerful about it, representative of a corporate greed, which I find interesting.
More modern.
Mm-hmm.
Your character has a common past with Denzel Washington's character,
Yeah.
kind of like you and Denzel.
Yeah.
So, was it fun to act with him again? Is it like...
Of course. I mean, he's one of the great actors of our time, you know, and we had a fantastic experience on Training Day. But I was always hesitant to try to revisit it because Training Day is a really special movie, and you don't want to pour water in the beer, so to speak. But this project was so different. You know, it was just a Western and this big ensemble movie. So it really felt right.
Exactly that. How was the shooting? It was like big kids playing with guns and hats, you know?
It has that aspect to it. You try not to indulge in that too much because then you won't make a good movie. You know, anybody can play Old West, but it is fun. I mean, the most fun part of it was they built a whole city, you know, to see a blacksmith shop and a school and Chinese laundry and bars and a brothel. And I mean, that we had 150 horses and 150 extras and dogs and chickens. And so you could kind of disappear into the whole world. And it's really fun.
You have been working nonstop this past few years. How do you choose your projects?
How an actor chooses their material is a really mysterious, defining part of your career. You know, we're all only as good as our opportunities. And I'm always just looking for places where I feel like I could be of value. You know, where I could do a good job and do something I haven't done before. And I love movies. So I have one advantage, which is that I don't really like one kind of movie. I like all kinds of movies, and I'm really interested in trying to make a great Western, and I'd be interested to make a great comedy. And, you know, I'm just always looking for something. I don't know what it is.
Do you feel sometimes disappointed by your performance after watching the movie?
What a funny question, because I think anybody would be lying if they said no. We're all disappointed. You know, I mean, in your mind, things are always going to be amazing. You know, and then they turn out in some parts are amazing and some parts disappointing. And I try not to be too self-critical. The world is so critical. I try to just kind of, not to be corny, but, you know, to just try to work from a place of love and trying to be an enthusiast, you know, and kind of see what's good in other people. I think if you're too self-critical, it starts you also being really critical of other people. And if you can kind of support yourself and be a friend to yourself, it becomes easier to be a friend to other people.
If the audience were to remember one thing about this movie, what would it be?
I have no idea. People come to these movies and they bring their lives with them, and everybody sees something different. You know, that's a good movie speaks to each person in its own way. So I don't begin to have an agenda. Personally, I love the photography. I think the photography of this movie is just incredible. I mean, I've always loved Westerns. I love horses, and I love the whole mood. And this photographer, he was the same cinematographer who did Training Day, and he won the Oscar for Avatar, and he's a special cinematographer.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.